Pitbull mentality, folks. Pitbull mentality. Never give up, never surrender. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a topic that is very sensitive. And if you're a father, if you're a mother, if you are a person that wants to compete in life and want to win, whether you're a CEO, entrepreneur, or someone that's going forward in life, you're going to understand a couple of things that are historical about the United States. Right now, the Olympics is a big thing for Americans. It's a big thing for the countries, but I travel around the world in some of the more developed countries. The Olympics is huge for them. For Americans, the Olympics is huge. The devotion to win more medals. You don't win more medals because you didn't dedicate yourself, you sacrificed. Those are basic things about winning. And how much you're willing to sacrifice, how much you're willing to endure is very, very important. And I have to tell you that the people today, everybody is getting paid. They get more money than everyone else. The guys at the top. It happens in boxing. They're all millionaires. It happens in the NBA. They're all millionaires. They all get sponsors. They all get this. So they're doing very well financially. Yes, they have to sacrifice day in, day out. And the people that go to the Olympics, you see them winning the medal, but you don't know what's behind it. It's a lot of tough work. So I'm not here to bash none of them, absolutely. I will give them the most respect because it just happens to be that with all the mental health issues that's going on in Japan on the Olympics and the mental health that is in America and on the whole generation, mental health was something that we always had. But let me tell you a little bit of background. I come from Honduras, a very poor country. I was a kid. I didn't have it very easy. It was very tough for me. My parents were very religious, and they came from a mindset that you need to hit your kids every day, So I had it very tough. And then as I grew up in life, by the time I was 16 years old, I was actually 15 going to 16. I landed in America as a homeless kid working very hard on any job that I can find. I mean, the first job I had was working in a junkyard. And I made it from the bottom to the top, from the very bottom to the top. One thing is you being American and you being homeless. The other thing is you being Honduran, having no parents, no one to walk you through, and you're not understanding the language. You're looking at TV, you don't know what they're saying. You walk on the streets, you don't know what they're saying. And you go through all of these struggles. You don't have papers, you're illegal alien, so you cannot get a job, anywhere else. And you have no skills, because at that age, I didn't have no skills at all, And it's tough, very tough, It'll want to make you cry when you're at that age and you're by yourself and it's cold and you don't have the proper jacket, you don't have the proper clothing, and you're sleeping on the train. It's very, very tough. So I can imagine how much endure these ladies had. But I can tell you my own perspective. When I was a kid, nobody told me that bullying exists. And when I go back in time and I look back and I was bullied, but nobody told me that I was a bully. So I fought and I defended myself. And I defended other children that were being bullied as well. And I became the sample of not letting someone beat you up and just walk away. We both were going to get hurt. And he will understand that either he hurts me and he goes away happy, or he comes and hurts me, but he also gets hurt. And I was willing to take more hurt than him. So I ended up gaining respect and people wouldn't bully me anymore. I remember that time, I remember this kid, Marcelino. I moved to a very, very poor school back in Honduras, and this kid came with a fist and he had a skull ring. Put the skull ring on my forehead right here. First day of classes, and I was in fifth grade. I was in fourth grade. I was in third grade. I left the school in fifth grade, but I got to that school in third grade. And he was on sixth grade at the time. And he came and he says, "Oh, you coming from that place, whatever?" He says, "I'm going to teach you how things are ruled here. And if you don't follow my directions, this skull is going to be printed in the middle of your forehead." And he looked at me and smiled. It's like, I look at this movie, these actors, he was just like that. And later on, he ended up being a friend of mine. He was in sixth grade and he failed. And then he failed. And I kept on going. So at one point, when I was in fifth grade, he was still in sixth grade. And then at the time, he was a friend of mine's. And he's just amazing. But I tell you, these ladies, they are totally phenomenal what they do. And I find nothing wrong with them on their performance. I think, I'll be an idiot. It's nothing worse than a hater for someone to come and talk bad about them. So I'm not going to talk about them. But what I'm going to talk about is, I'm going to talk about how society has changed. My society, it was the first society that saw the Commodore and the Atari. And I didn't have the pleasure to play the Atari too much. Just put a few coins whenever I could. But I wasn't really good at it because I never had to practice. So I was a poor kid, so I didn't have much time to play. I'll work hard to get the quarter. So the reward was too short. The machine was very fast. You didn't get too much time. And so I didn't become addicted to those things, And it is very important that I didn't get addicted to that. I didn't get addicted to Nintendo or anything like that. And some people are going to be like, oh my God, I enjoy it so much. And God bless you. But instead of doing that, I went through a path of really strong hardship that shaped my mind and helped me appreciate the American Pit Bull Terrier when I met it. That dog that brought to Americans, the founders, the builders of United States. Look at the words, the builders of United States. The CEO, the young kids in their home, Irish descendants and all kinds of descendants from the old countries. And they were raised with these dogs, that they were pets, but they were also fighting dogs. Those dogs brought to the United States a beautiful concept that everyone uses it today. They're very cynic. They don't like, the history of the dogs, but they willing to use the word underdog and top dog and, oh, he got a dog inside. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a dog fight. You're going to have to come up and be strong. And, oh, yeah. He'll get down and he'll give you everything he got. They're not talking about German Shepherds. They're talking about real American Pit Bull Terriers of the era. And those are not the dogs that you call American Pit Bull Terrier. I promise you, the dogs that you call American Pit Bull Terriers are deformed already. Those dogs cannot inspire you too much. They're a shadow of the real dog. I promise you. The real dog is nicer, kinder, way better pet, and way more influential. The real American Pit Bull Terrier can make kids feel strong about themselves and have the endurance. Today, the kids are raised with fluffy dogs, Shih Tzus, and Yorkies, and Poodles. And Labradors are still caught it, but I mean, they don't have Labradors so many years anymore. They're like these little toy dogs that are very weak and fragile, and you have to protect them. Oh my God. And if they quit, it's okay. And then you blame these ladies for quitting. They got all the talent in the world to become the greatest, and they might still be the greatest. But quitting, that's a really bad sample for the kids that are coming behind them. We might be looking at the weakest generation in some areas. They're great in innovation, they're great in other things and everything else. But we might be looking at a very dangerous situations, because if these quitters become grandparents and parents, there be probably no warriors anymore in America. There probably be no more warriors in America. You know why I went like this, right? Because I want you to see that guy right there. Okay? So it is very important for us to have the spirit of American. Look, listen to the national anthem. Listen to the national anthem. So beautiful. I get chills every time. I promise you. I go to boxing events and I go to other things, and when I hear that national anthem, it's one of the best parts of any event, because I hear how the rockets and the glare and the flag was still there. It's completely amazing. And I was born in Honduras, and I'm so blessed to be American. I get real emotional when it comes to the national anthem. I want you to know that. My name is Chico Lopez, folks, and I'm a pit bull expert. I've been doing it for 30 years. I didn't pick this. as a profession, although I have other business, but I didn't choose this as being my profession. It just, God chose me to do that. And I'm the saver of the real American Pit Bull Terrier. If you're walking your dog and your dog doesn't feel like you, but it feels like your grandmother's dog, it's because it is your grandmother's dog. If you're walking a Shih Tzu, a Poodle in the streets, or maybe a Frenchie, that's your girl's dog. That's not a real man's dog. You understand? The dog you have is the type of man you are. And I'm not saying that you are not strong. It's just that you're going through a path where you're becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. And they're changing your mentality. And they're feminizing all these boys. And these athletic, amazing people, amazing humans that just quit in the Olympics and in other things like boxing, they quit. And they quit without a fight. A lot of them quit. They're not fighting, but, oh, the mental pressure, blah, blah, blah. Social media, I go through that. Listen to me. I have a mob, a mafia, international mafia of dog fighters, low-level dog fighters in whichever country, the worst individuals of every single society. And the breeders, the one that breed the dogs, to sell them, to spread them, to mix them with their crappy dogs they call pit bulls. And they all hate me because they had a misinformation that they told them that if they breed dogs, they are dogmen. If that they work with dogs, they will be famous and glorious like the glorious men that founded the breed and created the breed. They lied to them. Owning a dog does not make you a dogman. But you do have an opportunity to become a great dog fancier and study the breed, just to study it and learn how great the dogs are. And you'll discover the dogs. The men that build the dogs, and not every man that owns dogs, and not every man that is his name in a book is really that relevant. The relevant men is just a few. You read that on some of my books that I'm going to publish. They're still not published now. But so thank you if you're thinking about looking for them, but they're still not published. You can look for them in the future. You can always find me at chicolopez.com. But what I want you to know is, look at David Goggins. You can't hurt me. Look at Royce Gracie. Look at those men. Look at the men that never quit. Look at those men for inspiration. Okay? They're American. They are American. One is Brazilian born, but is American, just like me. America attracts great people. I want you to know that. America attracts sometimes the best human fighters, the human spirits from other countries, and come to America to get together and get inspiration, because you always get inspiration from somebody. There's no better dog to raise a child. As far as bullying, if they tell you that you're being a victim, and they give you the victim package care, they tell you that, oh my God, you've been victimized. You don't know, my friend, but you should feel sorry about yourself. You can't fight when you feel like a victim. You can't fight. I don't feel myself like a victim. I'm a hard man. I don't feel myself like a victim at all. I know what happened to me in the past, but it didn't break me. Thank you, David Goggins. I was in a magnificent title. Magnificent title, spectacular. I didn't quit, never give up. Game dogs never quit. That's why the game dogs are selected from the best. Why you like the movie The Spartans, the 300? Why you like that? What do you think you like that movie? Why you attracted to the Spartans? Because the selection from best to best? Like the real American Pit Bull Terrier. Everybody uses the name real now, right? Before I came to the scene, or before I started using the word, they only call them American Pit Bull Terriers. Now they call them real. Because the fakes also, like the Louis Vuitton bag, they put on a Louis Vuitton bag, but it's fake. All these things that I'm telling you in this video are very strong, but be careful how you raise your children. Children, they are very open to different things. Their mind is like a sponge, and 70% of the language is non-spoken. And so what they do is they pick up anything. They pick up anything and anything from whatever's going on in the environment. And so if you have a weak dog and the sentiment of, oh my God, and all this stuff, it make them weaker. When they get, having compassion is one thing, but when you have too much of that compassion and you live only in the world of compassion, you can't be a warrior. You got to have a balance. And having compassion is true. It is great to have it. I have a lot of compassion for different people, but I'm talking about being strong. So I cannot give you a lesson in compassion right now. Because if you're thinking about compassion right now, we could talk about that in a different video. But right now we're talking about being strong and never give up. Okay? If you sign up to become the greatest, then fight to be the greatest. His name was Muhammad Ali. And I can understand that some of these children, their parents might have the cookie in the, their own biscuit on the gravy and pushing them and doing things like that. You got to fight hard. If I was you, and I'm not saying that I will sell you a dog, you might not even qualify to buy a dog from me, but try to get the best American Pit Bull Terrier possible. Maybe a red one, maybe from one of the guys that imitate me, maybe from one of those copycats. Their dogs are better than a bully and better than a cheese than a poodle, I promise you. You understand? An American Pit Bull Terrier dog, the dog that has the mindset. Look at all these MMA warriors that call themselves Pitbull. Do you think it's because they're quitters? I don't think so. They break their arms, they break their legs, and they still go at it. Look at all these boxers. Look at the strength of them. Look at the mindset of never giving up. It is very easy to quit when you sleep with silk sheets. I'm sorry, my English is terrible, and I know. I apologize for that. I'm so sorry. I was always busy doing things, and I was my fault. I was not caring enough to develop a better English, but I'm pretty sure you understand so far. So when you sleep with the sheets, your bed sheets that are silk, it is very, very, very bad, very, very bad, because a lot of times it makes you weaker. That's why when you look at the movie Rambo, why you like the movie Rambo? Why you like the movie Rocky Balboa? Why you attracted? Do you know that Sylvester Stallone actually made me this stuff? When I was a kid and I felt weak, I thought about Rambo. I thought about Sylvester Stallone. You understand? Look at the movie Rocky Balboa. See how he goes to Russia or to Ukraine and he's in the snow and making things tougher for him? Because he wants to be tough. Because he wants to be hard. You understand? It is a difficult world. Nothing is easy. And winners find a way. My name is Chico Lopez. I'll invite you to watch my videos and take a look at my beautiful dogs. They can inspire you, I promise you. And if you feel weak, send me a message. We'll talk about it. My name is Chico Lopez. My number is 806-500-5552. God bless you. Bye-bye.